Is Andrew Wiggins the next Kobe Bryant? Now, before I get started, I just want to straight up say that there will never, ever be another Kobe Bryant. His attitude towards the game was something that you simply don't see. Very few players have his attitude and love for the game, and you could argue that his love for the game was greater than anyone that has ever played in the NBA. People will argue the Kobe and Michael Jordan debate for who worked the hardest, but if anyone would know, it would be Phil Jackson. He coached both players in their primes and, well, he'd know better than anyone. Phil Jackson has revealed that despite believing that Michael Jordan was a better leader than Kobe Bryant, that the Black Mamba beat MJ in one important category: his dedication to training. So that's why I believe his love for the game and his work ethic is nothing that can ever be matched, period. I just want to quickly say that the other day I was watching the Timberwolves vs Hornets game, and it was a pretty good game, but there was one thing I noticed, and if you watched the game you probably noticed it too. When the game was close and the Timberwolves were down by 3, Wiggins pulled up right in Batum's face, knocked down a 3 to send the game into overtime, and I was like, damn, this guy is really looking like Kobe. The fact that he hit a clutch 3 and sent the game into OT just made him look like Kobe, because that's what you associate Kobe with. You associate Kobe with the clutch gene. Now, just because as NBA fans we love to have debates and discussions about how player A is better than player B, or that player A is the next player B, but in reality no one will ever be the exact same player, and just like I said, we do love to have these conversations, so I wanted to discuss it with you. Is Andrew Wiggins the next Kobe Bryant? Very quickly, if you haven't subscribed, it would be awesome if you could hit the subscribe button just to help me grow and support the channel. And anyway, let's get on to the video. We know that Kobe Bryant was the next Michael Jordan, as in, if anyone was ever going to be compared to Mike, it would be Kobe. That's not saying that he was as good as Jordan, but the way they played, the moves they used, and the similarities are very alike. Now, this is no doubt because Kobe copied MJ's moves and tried to master the master's moves, which is probably the best thing he could have done. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. I think it's stupid to people that say it's a bad thing, that a player is copying another player's moves that played before him, because in reality, why wouldn't you try and copy the master's moves? I don't know why people think that's a bad thing at all. As a young player entering the league, you always have an idol or a player you model your game after. Wiggins is Kobe, Kobe was Jordan, Jordan's was David Thompson and Dr. J, and the list goes on. My point is that players always have former NBA stars they model their game around, and I think for Andrew Wiggins, Kobe Bryant is definitely the guy he should model his game after, and here's why. Let me read you a quote from Joe Jellybean Bryant, Kobe's dad. Michael is great. Kobe is great. I don't see anyone else who compares to Michael or to Kobe. I think the kid in Minnesota has a chance to be special. Wiggins. You talk about the size frame and those kind of things. Wiggins has a chance to be special because really, I don't see anyone else. I don't think there will ever be another Kobe or another Michael. Now, if you ask me right now, if I think Wiggins is the next Kobe, I'd give you my honest answer and say that I'd have to wait at least one more season to give you the final answer. Now, that's exactly why I'm making this video though, because I don't want to wait one more season, and I don't want you guys to have to wait one more season as well. I want you guys to comment down below, I want you guys to share your thoughts, and I want you guys to read up and look at this video as a source of valuable information to, finalize your thoughts on if a player like Andrew Wiggins is really the next Kobe Bryant, because I want to try and make a prediction or find certain stats and similarities between past players and try to figure it out now. So with that said, if you guys like these type of videos, let me know down below in the comment section, and if you could also leave a like, that would be really appreciated. The ascension of Andrew Wiggins' production has seemed to hit a new plateau in the early goings of the 2016-17 season. He's averaging career-high scoring numbers while shooting well above his previous 2 seasons, which is what you'd expect as he's becoming more confident and comfortable in the NBA. I know it's only been 20 or so games into the season, but still, that's a quarter of the season already done, which is pretty crazy to think about. But looking at Andrew Wiggins versus Kobe Bryant at the ages of 21 years old, we can obviously see the difference in defense. Kobe averaged about 1 block to Wiggins' half a block, and Kobe averaged 1 more steal than Wiggins, but other than that, Wiggins holds his own, remembering that Kobe is a top 10 player to ever play in the NBA. Wiggins is on track, when looking at these numbers, to have a wonderful NBA career. At this point, he averages more points, less fouls, less turnovers, more threes, in less minutes. Now, these are all very minor, as in, if Wiggins is beating Kobe in a category, it's definitely not by much at all. I'm just saying that when you're looking at these players at exactly the same age, it's a fair comparison. They are both rocking the afro, they are both skinny players developing into their bodies, and they are both crazy athletic. They are around the same height, and they have similar stat lines. I'd say right now, it is a fair comparison. But I do think the thing that really lets Andrew Wiggins down is his defense and his rebounding this season. Although despite being scouted out of Kansas into the NBA as a player who looked to be a promising defender, he sort of let that slip a little bit in the NBA, which I guess is something that he'll probably work on under Tom Thibodeau, but I do think it's an area of his game that he can definitely improve on, but he does need to improve on it. The other part is his rebounding. He came into the league in his first season averaging 4.6 rebounds per game, but he's fallen off in that department as well. Most likely because Karl-Anthony Towns came into the league and he helped in that department, but in saying that, I think Wiggins could average at least 5 or 6 per game, which is what Kobe would do, so it's not out of this world to see him do that, especially with his athleticism. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think for a player like Andrew Wiggins to be compared to a player that is known as one of the greatest players of all time is a huge compliment towards him, and it's also a little bit of pressure. I think for Andrew Wiggins to be compared to Kobe, he'll have to develop some of Kobe's moves, just like Kobe did to Jordan. Kobe copied Jordan's footwork, he copied his approach into games, he copied his mid-range fadeaway jumper, and that's exactly what Wiggins is doing to Kobe, and I love it. Now, if you don't believe me, that's completely fine, because I have proof on the screen right now in a game which I'll play on the screen for you. Obviously, this play was last year, Kobe's final game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and there was one play in particular where the two battled one-on-one. Wiggins backed down Kobe and then quickly spun around for a fadeaway. It was smooth, it looked clean, and it looked, well, it looked like Kobe Bryant. If you don't believe me, well, would you believe Kobe? As they run back down the court, Kobe says to Wiggins, "That looks familiar," and Wiggins replied with, "I got it right from you, man."
He's improved a lot from the first time I played him. That one post shot, and I said, man, that looks familiar. They said, I got it right from you, man. And he hit the ball very well, he spaced very well, and it was textbook, and it's a pleasure for me to see that.
It's plays like this where you feel as if it's almost as if it's a passing of the torch, just like Jordan had with Kobe. Okay, now, I know that some people are still angry that I'm comparing Andrew Wiggins to Kobe Bryant. Keep in mind, at the same age. So if you're annoyed about that, and you're still watching the video, how about we compare him to Tracy McGrady? For those that don't know, McGrady before his injuries was absolutely insane. He was in fact projected to be better than Kobe Bryant, and both players were meant to be superstars of the NBA and the face of the NBA. Unfortunately for McGrady, as we all know, injuries ruined his career, and that's that. But if you want to know more about Tracy McGrady, I'll leave a link to one of Michael Zemba's videos in the description box down below, and it's really, really good, so I'd definitely check it out after this video. Anyway, Andrew Wiggins actually does have a similar or better stat line than the two future Hall of Famers through their first 3 seasons in the NBA, which is pretty insane. He's definitely holding his own. Keeping in mind as well, both Kobe and Tracy McGrady entered the league coming out of high school. So although they are all 21 years old, Kobe and T-Mac have spent an extra year in the NBA. And yes, like I mentioned before, Wiggins still has a lot to work on. Wiggins holds his own in the scoring column, but as I mentioned previously, he'll need to work on his rebounding numbers and his defense, as well as maybe a few more assists per game. But in his defense though, in areas where Kobe, Bryant and Tracy McGrady are better than Andrew Wiggins, Wiggins has a valid excuse that I want to point out. T-Mac averaged more rebounds, but Wiggins plays with Gorgie Dieng and Karl-Anthony Towns, who both average 10 and 8 rebounds respectively. Still, like I said before, he should help out more on the boards, but the next thing is what I find crazy, and most people will forget about this. So yes, Wiggins' assist numbers clearly don't add up to Kobe's or T-Mac's, but once again, in his defense, surely playing with a prime Shaq or a prime Vince Carter helped their causes a little bit more than Andrew Wiggins playing with a second year Karl-Anthony Towns. Let's just wait a few more years to argue this point until Towns enters his prime. That'll give Wiggins at least 2 to 3 more assists per game in my opinion, and then we'll argue the assist column. Now once again, just to reiterate, I don't mean any of this to say that I think Andrew Wiggins will be as good as Kobe Bryant and Tracy McGrady, because he probably won't, but I'm saying he's on the right track. Lastly, I will say this. When looking at Kobe Bryant, he really took his career and play to the next level at the age of 22, which is what Andrew Wiggins will turn next season. In other words, if Wiggins really wants to cement his case for being the next Kobe Bryant, the next Black Mamba. He'll really have to take that next level, but the way he's going, he is on track to do so. If Andrew Wiggins can go from averaging 22 points to even 26 or 27, that'll be crazy, but Kobe took a huge step from averaging 22 to 28, and that's even more crazy when you think about it. He was only 22 years old, averaging 28.5 points per game. Jesus Christ. And I hope you guys enjoy the video. I just thought it'd be a pretty interesting video for those that wanted to hear my thoughts on the whole situation, because I've heard a lot of people ask the question, who is the next Kobe Bryant? I've heard Devin Booker, I've heard Andrew Wiggins, I've heard Zach LaVine, and in my opinion, this is my answer. Andrew Wiggins is my answer. Once again, I'm not saying he is going to be as good as Kobe Bryant, but to model your game after, and a player like Jordan was to Kobe, Kobe will be to Wiggins. That's my opinion. That's all. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe for more videos just like this, and comment some of your own ideas that you'd like me to make a video on. If you want to leave a like, that would be absolutely amazing, and let's see if we can reach 4,000 likes for the next video, and I'll catch you guys there. Peace!